Welcome to True Miracle Stories. In a world filled with difficult headlines and constant noise, this is a place for real stories of hope, faith, and unexpected moments of good. These stories are shared to encourage and remind us that even in the hardest seasons, light can still find its way through. The church wasn't supposed to be open that afternoon. It was the middle of the week. No service scheduled, no music playing, no people inside. Just quiet sunlight passing through stained glass windows and falling softly across the empty pews. The front doors were normally locked during the day, but that afternoon, someone had forgotten. And because of that, a man walked inside. He hesitated in the doorway at first. Not because he wasn't welcome, but because he hadn't stepped inside a church in a very long time. He used to come every Sunday, back when life looked different, back when the seat beside him was always filled. His wife had loved this place. She loved the music, the quiet, the way sunlight moved across the sanctuary during morning service. After she passed away 2 years earlier, he stopped coming. At first it was grief, then it slowly turned into distance. The silence in the house had become too heavy. The routines they once shared now felt like reminders of everything that had changed. So he stayed away until that afternoon. He walked slowly down the center aisle. The room felt exactly the way he remembered it. Peaceful, still, safe in a way the outside world rarely felt anymore. He sat in the back pew, the same place they had once sat together. For a while he said nothing. He just stared toward the front of the sanctuary, toward the cross, toward the warm light filtering through colored glass. Memories quietly filled the space around him. Her laugh during Sunday coffee hour, the way she sang slightly off-key during hymns, the way she would squeeze his hand during prayer. He closed his eyes, and for the first time in a long time, he spoke quietly. God, I don't know how to do this without her. It wasn't polished, it wasn't rehearsed, just honest. The kind of prayer people whisper when their heart finally runs out of words. The room stayed silent. No voice answered. No dramatic moment followed. But something shifted, not outside, inside. The weight he had been carrying alone for 2 years felt just a little lighter. He sat there a while longer, then slowly stood up. As he walked toward the front of the sanctuary, something caught his eye. Near the pulpit was a small table with a stack of simple flyers. He picked one up. It read, "Grief Support Group Thursday evenings, all are welcome." He stared at the paper for a long moment. Tomorrow. He hadn't talked about her with anyone in months. Most people had stopped asking. Life had moved forward for everyone else. But his grief had quietly stayed where it was. He folded the flyer and slipped it into his jacket pocket. The next evening he came back. This time the church wasn't empty. A small group sat in a circle of chairs. Some people older, some younger. Different stories, the same kind of pain. He almost turned around, but a man near the door greeted him with a gentle smile. "First time?" he asked. He nodded. "Pull up a chair." No pressure, no expectations, just a place to sit. For the first few weeks, he mostly listened. Others shared stories of loss, of spouses, parents, children, the kind of grief that changes a person forever. Eventually, he began to talk too, about her laugh, about their favorite road trips, about how quiet the house felt now. Something about saying those memories out loud brought them back to life. Slowly, the heaviness started to shift, not disappear, but soften. Months later, he found himself sitting in the sanctuary again, but this time it wasn't empty. Music filled the room. People stood singing. Light poured through the stained glass windows. He looked around at the familiar space, at the faces he now recognized, at the seat beside him that still held memories, but no longer only pain. And he thought about that quiet afternoon, the day he almost kept driving, the day the church door happened to be open, the day he whispered a prayer he hadn't said in years. Sometimes miracles don't arrive as sudden answers. Sometimes they begin with a door left open, a place to sit, a group of strangers who understand, and the courage to speak the pain you thought you had to carry alone. Because sometimes healing doesn't start with a solution. Sometimes it simply starts with walking inside. Thank you for spending this time with us. We share these stories for hope and encouragement, not as advice or guarantees, because every journey is different. If this story meant something to you, you are always welcome back.